Oh my goodness, we got to talk about the energy this week. So much going on, so many things happening. And I know I'm not the only one feeling this. So let me know. Are you feeling the energy, this crazy energy that's happening over the last few days? And wondering what is going on and when is this going to change? When is this going to shift? How is this going to go away? Because I need to get back to a normal space. Let me know. Just put what's happening in the chat if you have been experiencing this and you thought maybe it was just something happening to you and your circumstances. We're going to talk about how this is more global and what's really going on and some shifts that might be happening. And what do you do when these things come up, when you don't have necessarily control over the things that are happening to you, happening around you, and how do you handle those? So we've got a lot to cover today. I wanted to jump in here because yesterday being transparent as I like to be with you all was a crazy day. And not just because things weren't going right, but a lot was happening. And I'm going to share all of that with you. I'm going to share some tips, share some things that I do when these things come up for me, because it is so important to be able to recognize what is happening. Why is this happening? And understand that you can fix this. This doesn't have to continue this way. So first, let me tell you what happened. So yesterday morning, we got on the call with our team, and I had noticed I was checking some things on a masterclass that we were supposed to be doing today, and it didn't look like we had any. There was like very few people signed up. The people who were signed up, it was like it was like a test thing. And I'm like, what is happening? Doesn't like people are signed up. This is not normal. What is going on? Why don't we have people sign up for the masterclass that we're having tomorrow? And I tried to sign up. It didn't add me to the list. So I'm like, what is happening? So I'm asking my team, like, what's going on? Have you guys noticed something? As we log into the system, all of a sudden it shows that we're getting a phishing error on our masterclass site. We're like, this has never, ever happened to us before. What is going on? Is this, an issue with our website link? Is this an issue with the system we're using? And so we're spiraling, trying to figure out what is happening. Why is this going on? And I knew people had signed up because I had seen the post. I had seen people say they're coming. And I was like, why isn't it showing in our system? So it wasn't saving anyone who signed up. So if you signed up for the masterclass yesterday, or you signed up before yesterday that we were supposed to have today, I'm going to share a link in the chat where you can re-sign up, because unfortunately, we don't know that you signed up. So you weren't getting any of the notices. So in the moment, we're like, okay, what is going on? Why is this happening? Reaching out to the tech teams, reaching out to support teams, trying to figure out what's going on. Then I go to get in my car to go pick up my girls from school. And I had this little bottle in my car that was empty that the girls had left in there. And I'm like, let me just throw this over into the recycle. The recycle's way on the other side of the garage. And I was like, just throwing it out my window. And I threw really hard to make sure it got all the way there. And because, I used to play basketball, and I think I'm pretty good at hoops sometimes. I think I can make it. So I just, challenge myself to do these things sometimes, see if I can still play basketball. I don't know. Anyone else to ever do that? Challenge yourself to see if you're still good at something that you used to do. And so I threw it really hard, and my rings go flying off, my wedding rings. And as I'm going, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose my rings. They fly all the way across. I see them go all the way up almost to the ceiling in our garage. I hear the one hit the wall, and then I see it come tumbling down onto the floor. Only one of them. And so I walk over, and it was my wedding band that had hit the wall and came back down. And I looked down at my finger, and my engagement ring was not there. And I started to freak out for a minute, and I'm looking, I'm like, my diamond is missing. What am I going to do? Where is it? So I am getting out of the car, looking all over, trying to find this. And the only thing I can think is that above the garage, we have some storage bins, and seen those that hang down from your garage ceiling, and we put boxes and chairs and things up there to store some extra things. And I'm like, I saw the one ring go fly over top of that. So I'm like, it must have gotten caught on the top of there. And as I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, it's going to be lost in one of those boxes or something. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to find this. Kind of like, semi freaking out, but at the same time, trying to stay calm and be like, okay, I have to go get my kids right now. So I've got to leave the house, go to get my kids, call my husband, tell him what happened. And so anyways, we did end up finding my ring. Thank goodness. It was exactly where I thought it was. So my ring is back on my finger. I might be putting some sizers on there to make it smaller so it doesn't go flying off anytime soon. But I was having all these things happen throughout the day. And when those times are happening, I always ask myself, what is going on? What is happening? And one of the first things I did was I messaged a friend of mine who is very woo, and I love her, and she is amazing. And you guys know I do energy work, and I'm slightly woo, but not completely woo, and in my terms. And so I messaged her, and I'm like, "What is happening with the planets right now? Because everything is going crazy." And so, if you haven't heard, apparently we have 7 planets that are in retrograde. You may have heard of Mercury retrograde before, where, this happens a couple times a year, where Mercury's in retrograde and things go crazy and tech issues happen. And it's like, okay, can we just get out of Mercury retrograde is normally what I'm thinking when these things happen. You don't want to go through a launch at the time. You don't want to be doing major changes in your business. You don't want to be making major shifts because it's a crazy time. And she was sharing this with me. She's like, this is the first time in 200 years that this has happened. So if you've been wondering why things are going so crazy this week, just know that it isn't just you. I mean, the system we use, which we are kind of in the process of using 2 different systems. Both of them had issues yesterday, but the one we were trying to collect leads from and we've been using for years, we've never had this issue with, which is ClickFunnels, and we love ClickFunnels. But they were getting reports from tons of users that they were getting this phishing error. Their collections, of leads weren't working. There was all kinds of things happening. And so it wasn't just us. This was a globaler issue, right? Like when Facebook went down and everybody was impacted, and they're like, what do I do? And these things tend to happen when there's changes happening and things are going on. And I wanted to share this because even though I learned there's kind of a reason, we'll call it, right? This isn't just everything's going wrong for Tami, but things are going wrong for a lot of people because of the planet shifts and things happening. The good news is there is a full moon tonight, and this is supposed to help shift some of this. So hopefully we'll start seeing some better results in the next few days. And this is a great time to start setting intentions tonight for your business. What do you want? What do you really want to clear? What do you want to get rid of? What do you want to bring in? And start looking at what do you want to manifest? It's a great time tonight when there's full moon coming in. But I won't go too deep into that because I wanted to share with you some tips that I use when something's not going right. When we're literally in the middle of a launch, and we have our Inspired 6-Figure Business Bootcamp starting in a couple weeks. And we were doing a masterclass to share some incredible valuable information with you guys and share some tips that are just going to help you to get clients now. Part of what we'll be sharing as part of that is the bootcamp as well. And we ended up having to reschedule. So we were going to do another class next week anyways. We're just combining them. We're just going to be doing one. So I'll share that link with you guys in the chat. It's called the masterclass we're doing. If you hadn't signed up or hadn't heard of it yet, is the Get More Clients Now Masterclass. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have so many things. And because of everything happening, I'm going to add in some extra things that I've learned over this week as well for you guys, because I am always here about teaching you what we are learning and helping you and saving you a little bit of time and effort as you go through those things. But I got on the call with my staff, and after we got done talking about all the tech and stuff, my success coach and I stayed on and we started talking about what was happening. And she was asking me what this means and some of that. And I was sharing with her, there's some questions that I always ask every time something happens. Like it's just kind of a habit now, but sometimes I do have to remind myself. But it's become such a ritual for me that I'm always going back and asking these certain questions when things are kind of falling apart, when things aren't going the way I want them to, when, something goes wrong in my personal life or business life. The first question I ask is, what is this situation trying to tell me? What is it trying to teach me? Is there a bigger reason that this is happening? Right? Because so many times we get stuck in, things are just falling apart and why is this happening? And it's my fault, or like you're blaming it on someone else, or you think you're just not good enough, or there's something going on. And so I always try to stop and say, okay, is there a bigger reason why this is happening? Right? Is it because I needed to do something differently? Is it because energetically I'm just not aligned with this, which has happened many times? Is it because I wanted to do something else and I didn't really want to do this, and so something got canceled? I had an event canceled this week also. They rescheduled it. It's going to be in October now, but it was still, it was a full day event that I was going to be speaking at, had a full day blocked out for it. And at the last minute, they rescheduled it. So a lot has been happening. And I look at that and I'm like, what is the opportunity here too? So, why is this happening? What is this trying to teach me? And then what is the opportunity? What's the opportunity for me in this circumstance? What is this opening me up for? What could I do differently? And when I'm thinking about those questions, I'm looking at how is what I am working on right now aligned with my bigger goals? Is this a distraction for me, or is this something I really want to pursue? I can tell you, and I was talking to one of my mastermind partners this morning, and she's like, Tami, you are the biggest manifester I've ever met. And I may not apply my manifesting tools as much as I probably should. But there are times when, I'll have a day and I'm like, I just don't want to, maybe I'm not feeling good. I've gotten sick, or when my kids are sick, I'm like, I just really don't want to be on a call with clients. And all of a sudden, I will have calls being canceled because I just put it out there that I didn't want to be on the call, and they're canceling. I'm like, I didn't even have to reach out. Anyone else ever had this happen where you're like, and you didn't even realize you were doing it to yourself? And sometimes it's in a detriment to yourself, because that might have been a prospect call and you just lost a client because they canceled. But you put out to the universe that you didn't want to be there. You didn't want to have that conversation. And so we always have to be on the lookout of what energy are we putting out? What are we really saying? And then there's times when it happens in the really positive. And one of the reasons she was saying this to me this morning, she's like, I remember there was this time where we were at this event and you decided you wanted to join this program. And it was a $45,000 program. And I did not just have $45,000 at the time sitting in my bank account waiting for me to join a program. And she's like, you were just like, you know what? This is going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to make it happen. And within 24 hours, I manifested that 45,000. Like crazy things like that happen when you put your mind to it. And then there's this, flip side, right? There's times when it happens in the positive, and there's times when it happens in the negative. Like we don't realize sometimes that we are putting something out that we want to make a change. It was funny. One of the things that she was telling me that happened to her this morning, didn't happen this morning, but she was telling me this morning, was she had written down that she wanted a new kitchen. and she just didn't have the money to right now to invest in that kitchen, but she really wanted a new kitchen. And unfortunately, they ended up having a short in their stove. And in the middle of the night, it caught on fire. Well, their entire kitchen pretty much got ruined. And now she is getting the new kitchen. So I share this because there are times, like if you didn't think about that, you're just like, oh my gosh, my house just almost burned down. Like I lost my kitchen. You go into this mode of, woe is me. How am I going to deal with this? This is overwhelming. I could have died. Like all of these things compiling on top of you. And if you stop and you think about it, she kind of manifested that. She wanted to redo a kitchen. She didn't have the funds. Now her insurance is going to pay for it. Now we hope things like that don't actually happen, but sometimes they do, right? Sometimes we put things out there and something happens that we see as a negative, as something bad happening, but it's because we asked for it. I've seen this with people getting fired. They're like, I want to start my business, but I just can't. I need the support of, I need the security of my income coming in, but I really want to start my business. And I don't know, how to balance all my time and everything. And all of a sudden they get fired. They're like, but now, and they go into the woe is me. Why does this happen? And this, they get mad at the company or the person that made it happen when they really asked for it. They wanted to go into their business. Now they have no choice. And so when we push ourselves into these corners that make us make the choice of what we say we want, step back and ask yourself, why is this happening for me? What is this doing for me? What possibilities does this open up for me now? How can I move forward with this? And then the other question I always ask is, how can I do this better, easier, and have more fun with it? And more fun has been something I've added in recently because I'm trying to have more fun in my business. I want it to be fun. I don't want it to feel like a burden, right? And so I'm always I've always been an efficiency junkie. So easier for me is something that naturally I'm always looking at, how can I do something easier? How can I do this easier? How can I get it faster? How can I make it better? But even with the circumstances that happened with, us having to reschedule our masterclass, I'm like, okay, there's a reason for this. Something else is going to open up for me. I might not even know what it is yet, but I know that it's there. I know there's an opportunity that's waiting. And so how can I make this better? How can I touch more people in this way? How can I get this out to more people? How can I really help more people get more clients like they want and build their businesses? Was I missing something? And what can I do to shift that and make it even better? So I hope this was helpful for you. I want you to come back and listen to this and really understand what it is that you are trying to manifest, what it is you really want. And look at those situations around you and say, when things are happening, ask yourself these questions. What is the situation trying to tell me? What is it trying to tell me? Is there something bigger reason why this is happening? It's kind of the first question. The second question is, how can I use this to make it better, easier, and more fun? It's the third question we said. So I want you to think about that. What is the opportunity that it's presenting to me? What is the opportunity that this is giving me? That was the second question we talked about. So the opportunity, how can you make it better? And why is this happening? Like, what is the bigger picture? What is that something else that I might be missing that I didn't realize this is trying to tell me? Ask yourself those 3 questions and see what you come back with. I want to hear if you're going through something, if something's been happening to you this week, let me know in the comments. We're here to support you any way we can. So make sure you share and let us know so that we can, celebrate things you're celebrating and also support you when things seem more challenging, because I know that happens for everybody. But I just wanted to come in and offer you a little bit of encouragement today that no matter what it is that is happening for you, there is a bigger reason. There is a bigger why. And you get to step out of this and make it better, bigger, and find the opportunities that are going to help you get what you really want and work towards what you really want. So I hope this was helpful for you. Give us some love. Share this with someone who might need it today, because I know there are times when we all need to hear what to do. How do we handle these situations? And join us next Wednesday for the Get More Clients Now Masterclass. Link is in the chat, and we hope to see you there because it's going to be so much fun. We are going to be talking strategy. We are going to be talking how to get through these times when you feel like things aren't happening for you and how to make a bigger impact. So I'll see you guys there. Have a blessed rest of your day.